Hello guys, and welcome to this series of shell scripting. In this video we are going to look at some common methods to debug our shell script. So let's begin. Before we start discussing about the debugging, one point that you should remember is that our shell script stops its execution as soon as it encounters a syntax error. So currently in our shell script, you will see that after the for I am not defining the do, that is creating a syntax error. Similarly, after the if I am not defining the then keyword, so it is also a syntax error. So if I try to execute my shell script, then you will see as soon as there is a syntax error, the execution of our shell script stops. Okay. So in case if I remove this syntax error, then it will stop in the next syntax error, that is at the line number 12, that is after the if I am not defining the then keyword. Also remember that the command not found is not a syntax error. For instance, if I write here anything and then if I again execute my shell script, then you will see even at the top it is showing us the error that the command not found, but the execution of our shell script is not stopping because it is not a syntax error, right? Now while debugging for the syntax error, there are various options, in which first of one is the use of -n, that is the no execution mode with the bash or set command. So in that particular case, what we can do, let me first remove this command, and I am also going to create another syntax error, that is the after the for, and then we can use here option as -n, which is for the noexec or no execution mode. So all the following commands are not going to be executed, they are only going to be read by the bash. And while reading the commands, if there is any syntax error, then it is going to show in the output. Okay, so let me save it, and if I again execute our shell script, then you will see there is a syntax error at the line number 5. Basically, I had not defined here do. Now one question that generally arises is that why to use -n option altogether? Basically, even without the -n option, we saw that I was getting the same output. So what is the benefit of using the -n option? So the simple answer here is that all of your commands are not getting executed. They are only getting read. So in that particular case, if you are running any sensitive commands, for instance, suppose you are running here add user command. Okay. So in that particular case, even though your script does not complete its execution, but a user has been created, which is most of the time you don't intend to do. So your shell script should run only then once there are no syntax errors, right? Now let me remove here one error after the for. So I'm going to write here do. Let's save it, and if we again execute our shell script, you will see that now we have the error at line number 12. Okay, so basically to remove it, I should write here then, right, after the if block. So let's again execute our shell script. Then you will see nothing has been shown in the output. So basically no command has been executed, and since no output has been shown, it indicates that there is no syntax error in our shell script. Now sometimes we need to check for the syntax error starting from a certain point. For that you can use the set command. Okay. For example, let's say I want to check for the syntax error from the line number 9. So in that particular case, I am going to use the set command here, and I am going to remove the -n options from our bash. Okay. Now we will see commands before the set n are going to be executed, while the commands after the set -n option are only going to be read. And in case if there is any syntax error, it will report it in the output. Okay. So let's save it, and if we again execute our shell script, you will see only these commands are getting run, and after the set n, no other commands are getting run. Okay. Now in case if there is any syntax error, again let me create one, then it is going to report it into the output screen, right? That is at the line number 13. So in case if you want to start no execution mode from a particular point in your shell script, then you can use the set -n option. Now to check for the syntax errors, there are other utilities like shellcheck that you can use. Okay. So for that, let me create some syntax error, and let's save it, and I'm going to use here shellcheck utility. Okay. So I'm going to write here shellcheck and then the name of our shell script, that is debug_script, and it is going to report us the first syntax error. Okay. So in that particular case, you will see the output that could not pass this for loop, and after that it is defining that we need to provide here do. So let me write here do, and let's again execute our shell script. Okay, so in that particular case again there is an error, then it is telling us that we need to include the then keyword also. So if I again include it also, and let's save it and again execute our shell script with the shell check, then you will see it is only giving us the warning. Now after that, during debugging, it is sometimes required to keep a trace of the commands that are getting executed. For showing the traces in the output, we can use the -x, that is the xtrace mode, with the bash or with the set command. Okay, so let me clear this one, and I am going to simply write here set and then -x. Okay, this is for the xtrace mode. Now with this xtrace option, it will print the commands and also the arguments in expanded form as they are getting executed. So let's save it, and if we again execute our shell script, then you will see that first of all it is executing the code before setx without any traces, and after that while executing it is first tracing it out that what exactly is executing and then what is the output. Okay, so for this particular line the trace was echo, then if else, and the output was if else. After that we have the if. Since the condition is true, we are executing this condition true command. So in that particular case, first it is trying to evaluate the condition, then the program execution is moving to the true block, so it is giving the trace as echo condition true since our program flow in the true part. Okay, and then it is giving us the output, right? After that, if we see, we are defining a variable with the value as thank you. So here also it is keeping a track that where equals to thank you has been defined, and then another statement, that is the script execution ends, then the $var. So while tracing it out, you will see that our variable has been expanded, right? And then it is giving us the output. So it is keeping a trace what exactly is being evaluated. Now in case if you want to use the xtrace mode only for a section of code, then for starting point you can use the set-x option. Then to set it off, you can use the set with the +x option. So in this particular case, only the trace of this portion of code will be shown. Okay, so let's save it, and if we again execute our shell script, you will see the traces are only for a portion of code, right? Now in case if you want to find the trace of your entire shell script, then you can use this option with the bash. Okay, either you can define your set -x option at the top of your script, or with the bash you can simply give here option as -x, right? So if we again execute our shell script, then you will see the trace of entire shell script has been shown. Now one thing to notice here is that most of the places I am getting the single plus, but at the command of sequence 1 to 3 I am getting the 2 plus signs. So why here is 2 plus sign? Basically whenever we use the command substitution, that is the parenthesis, then the commands are run in a subshell, and if the commands are running as a subshell, then as per the subshell's depth, the ++ symbols will be used. For instance, currently I had used here one parenthesis, so there is 2 double plus. Suppose I am writing here, let me write here echo, then I am going to again use here echo, then let's say hi, right? So in this particular case, I already have a subshell that will give me double plus, and inside the subshell, I'm again running the echo command with another subshell. So for this one, there will be 3 plus. Okay, so let's save it, and if we again execute our shell script, then you will see in the first part, that is at the very depth of the parenthesis, it is giving us the 3 plus, then 2 plus. Basically the output of this particular command is high, then it is evaluating echo high, right? Another thing, that in case if you want to change this symbol, then you can change the value defined in the PS4 variable, right? So let me clear this one, and currently if you see the value of PS4, then it is set to plus. Okay, so in case if we want to change it, then simply define here PS4 equals to and any character you want to give. For instance, suppose I want to give here tilde, so I am going to write here tilde, and if we again execute our shell script, then you will see that instead of plus we are now getting the tilde, right? For PS4 I am getting the plus since before evaluation of the PS4 equals to tilde command, the PS4 was default set with the plus symbol. Now another very common operation that we do while debugging our shell script is to use the verbose option. That tells us that what exactly is being read by our shell. For that we can use the option as -v, right? So let's save it and again execute our shell script. Then in that particular case, in the first case you will see this has been read, that is the echo loop. Then what is the output of this? After that this entire loop, and what is the output of this loop? Again echo if else, then what is the output of if else? Then the entire if else is being interpreted, and then what is the output? It is the condition true. After that where equals to thank you, then again echo statement, and what is the output of the echo statement? So this is giving us the verbose output. Now for a portion of code, if you want to get the verbose output, then you can use the command here as set and define the option as -v. So from this point onward, all the commands will be shown in the verbose mode while they are executing. In case if you want to turn it off, then you can use the set with the +v option. Okay. So again, if we execute our shell script, then you will see that only this portion of the code is being shown as in verbose mode. Now you can also use the combination of these options based on your requirements. For instance, suppose I want to find for the syntax error, then along with the -n option, that is the no execution option, I can also use the verbose mode. Okay, so I am going to define here -n and -v, right? And let me create a syntax error here. And let's clear this screen and again execute our shell script. You will see it is giving us the verbose output, and along with that it is giving us the syntax error. So these were some couple of options which can help you to debug your shell script. Now there are some specifically designed tools also like bashdb that can do the debugging in depth. For instance, bashdb allows you to create breakpoints or inspect variables during the execution, perform a backtrace and other features. Alright, so that's all for today guys. I hope you like the video. If you have any doubt, please comment it down. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you in the next video.